Getting hit multiple times coming out of that bike section. More drivers coming to blows.
Hello and welcome to the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. This is our final round, round 12 at, you know what, I almost forgot where we were. We're at Lime Rock today. Lime Rock Park with the Chicane, I believe, as well. So, you know, we're going to have one of those races where everybody knows this track really, really well. It is our final round. We only got a few S2 drivers in the field, unfortunately, today, Charles, but I think this is going to be a bit of a frenetic final round here on such a small track. Always a bit of a difficult one around here for sure. We all know this track really well, which can kind of make it difficult, I think. People kind of expect that they're going to get a result here, and that can be a really bad thing going into T1.
Yeah, it really can, Josh. Yeah, this feels like a home track for these cars. They go together very, very well. As you said, this is one of the free tracks on iRacing, so you get a lot of experience running this track in multiple different cars. So no doubt these drivers have spent more than just today's length of laps here in the Formula Ford at Lime Rock. So yeah, looking forward to a really great race. Great way to end the season. It's going to be some even with 21 drivers in the session, it's still, because of the track, it's still going to be a very, very tight racing, which is going to make things very exciting. I'm looking forward to it today.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're looking at the 45 film bill car of Frederick Sorley here, our sponsor for the final end of this season here. So the last 3 rounds graciously been sponsored by filmbill.no. You can check that out online. Pretty cool business where they rent vehicles out for film shoots and so on. So doing a commercial, you need an ambulance, you need maybe a vehicle that's a little harder to find. They probably have it for you, and you can get them to bring it down to your film shoot, and you can get a shot. So pretty cool business there. That actually kind of fits the bill here a little bit with our vehicles on track here and stuff. Looking at Chris Murakami right now, 10th place, our Masters driver, the 901. Always a pretty consummate competitor out there for sure. It's about getting this lap time down right now, I think, is the issue here. You can be fast all day, but you got to actually get that lap time down, and this place can be a little bit deceivingly difficult, especially with this chicane here. That is a pretty diabolical chicane on such a small track that you have to hit it so many times over and over again. It just starts to kind of bend your mind a little bit. You're thinking about that chicane every lap.
Yeah, you are, and yeah, for qualifying, you want a little bit of a draft, but honestly, you want the clean track a little more. You want to be able to run your pace without interruption, either from behind or from in the front. So you want to find yourself a little clean area of track, a little open area of track, and give it a run. Yeah, don't like of the 2 chicanes, this is probably my least favorite. But here we are. We'll deal with it, and we'll have a good race. I'm glad I'm not out there with them. So I think we've got our points owned for today as well. So let's look at our points going into the final round.
Yeah, we'll start up here with our S1 points. Jake Williams is going to be in first place with 869 points. Just behind him, Aero Nam with 824. Mikey Pollard in third. Jason Chen in fourth. Daniel Case fifth. Edward Batista in sixth. Frederick Sorley in seventh. Eighth is Andrew Moran. Ninth is Dan Whitsack. 10th is Mario Rass. I'll let you guys have a look at the rest of those points there, and we'll move on to the S2. Paul Jackson is going to be 592 points in first place. Daniel Veron in second. In third, we have Kevin Adrian. In fourth, Chris Montgomery. Daniel Salmon in fifth. David Foy, sixth. Dmitry Lukanov, seventh. Eighth is Russell Telker, and ninth is going to be Todd Shuey. So pretty much caught up there for Paul Jackson. He's going to be taking that one, I think, today. Depending, I'm pretty sure we have our drop rounds and everything here too, so this should be fairly accurate. Jorg Mani is going to be in first in the Masters with 734, so way ahead for Jorg Mani out there in Masters in rarefied air by himself there. David Lehman is going to bring up second place. We have Antonio Reese in third, Andrew Love in fourth, Chris Murakami in fifth, Alan Degassis in sixth, Jeff Webker in seventh. Eighth is Jim Brewster, and Pierre Robitaille in P9 with Marcus Burkett in P10. We'll let you look at the rest of those results here in Masters. Oh, I think I leaned away from my mic there a little bit. And so I mean, we're pretty much caught up in most of our classes here. We're not really fighting for any first places out there. Looked like the closest probably for a battle there would be in S2. And we were talking about it yesterday when we finished up our V round. Sometimes that seems to open up a bit of an opportunity for other drivers. At least I find anyway that I can sometimes actually just pick up a bit of extra time because it's the last lap of the race. And I think we're going to try to jump on board with Pollard here, as it looked like he may be actually slowing down for this outlap. Not going to actually take the lap, unfortunately. So we're going to have to pull up someone else there. It always seems, you pick the driver, you hear the producer go, okay, we're going to go on board with Pollard, and then they immediately start downshifting, losing speed. So we're going to jump on with Antonio Reese here. Pretty beautiful paint job here as well. So going into T1, this is probably your best passing opportunity on the course here. Really wide corner. You can take it wide, you can take it narrow, but there really only is one line that we're seeing Antonio take right there. Getting into more, kind of one of the more technical spots, lower speed here. Really want to make sure you tuck this one in. Get on the power early. Very important run through this section here, especially on some of the layouts that are wide open, just like this one here, where we're going to go straight through this section here. Really fun right-hander. You kind of dip it in, just touch that curb. Sometimes maybe don't touch it. It can push you a bit wide. Got to get that one right. So that run is very important through there. And then we're going to skip that section. That's one of my, least favorite sections, and into probably my least favorite section, into this this chicane right here. And you really have to slow down for that one. It's a very awkward chicane to enter. It's an awkward chicane to exit. First lap is going to be pretty interesting going through that section there. If you have to try to make a pass, or you're 3 cars wide, it's not going to work out for you. And I have a feeling somebody's going to try it today, Charles, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they probably will. I think you're right. As far as the best passing zone, I think it is the run down into turn 1. There may be opportunities because the car gets light coming up the hill there in the back half before you get to the chicane, that you can get a good run, but you need to get the run done and back in the proper line before you get to that chicane, because you just lose so much time as it is through there. If you go through there too wide, it makes it so much worse. You're losing probably a second of time during the course of that lap to try and run too wide through that chicane. So like I said, turn 1 is definitely the prime overtaking spot. You want to get a good run out of that chicane, down the hill, out of that final corner, to build up as much pace as you can. And this is one of those momentum tracks that make these Formula 4s look really fun to drive.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are really fun to drive. I miss these things. I haven't been in this machinery in a while. Pretty much most of the season here, I decided to kind of skip out on. I just didn't have the time for it. I miss them a bunch. They kind of jump there. They skid around a lot. You're constantly on the wheel with them. You're constantly trying to place them correctly. And you can actually slide them around a bit too. It feels like one of the cars they've done a really good job of in iRacing, and making it feel like it has a tire under it, and you can actually slide it around. They don't just burn off and you loop the car and kind of question mark over your head as to why that just happened. Like, I don't have tires under me for some reason. This one doesn't really make you feel like that ever. You can slide, you can catch it, and it feels pretty good. Difficult though, very difficult to drive for sure. It's not an easy car. I would say this is a really good car to once you've kind of graduated, let's say, from rookie classes, of cars. This is a really good one to jump into. And if you can if you can kind of discipline yourself and do a year of driving this car and just stay away from the GT3s, stay away from those other cars for the first little while, you'll become a better GT3 driver and a better LMP driver and a better GTP driver for driving this car. If you can get your hands around it, it will make you a better driver all around. And I don't just mean doing laps on your own either. You have to be able to race it. If you can race this thing well and not end up getting in an accident every race you get into, you're learning and you're doing something good. These things are not easy to race against other competitors in. Side by side, obviously, you get into an accident, you lock wheels there, you're kind of done. So if you can get the discipline to race these things clean, you've probably got a pretty good idea on racecraft and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. You're exactly right. As I'm looking here, we got Mikey Pollard jumping up to the pole position there with about a minute left to go. You've got a 1 minute lap, so everybody's got a chance to get another lap in that's out on the track. But Mikey Pollard setting the standard here at 57.111, just ahead of Andrew Moran, Daniel Case, Frederick Surley, Mario Rosser, top 5. Looking further down, Alan Degassis, P8, leading the Masters class, and Eduardo Batista, the 22 car, the Mexican driver, in P16, and once again leading S2 in his Toro Rojo car.
Very nice, very, very nice. Yeah, and right as soon as we almost, session's almost over there, Mikey Pollard's going to put one up top. That's a pretty big gap for these cars too. 1.2 is not nothing. That's definitely something. And then that's pretty much the rest of the field after that
Yeah.
too. So Mikey Pollard finding something out there for sure. He's got a little trick to that chicane or a little trick to something out there that other people have not found. Sometimes I'm able to go out there, and I'm sure others are as well. You kind of follow maybe someone like Mikey Pollard around for a few laps and go, oh, that's how you do that corner, and then boom, you got that 1/10 back. And you're racing. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you go out there and you go, where the heck is this guy finding this time? Even when you're behind him and he's taking off on you, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to be okay with second place. And we'll have to see how that works out today. Daniel Case in third as well, one of our SRG brethren there from another league. So pretty cool to see things crossing over there as well. And he has got to grips with this car fast, and he's now up in P3. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. As we saw a little bit of an incident there going into the pits between Alan DeGassis and another car. Everybody slowing down, trying to get into the pits. And we have, it's like Batista. Don't think he's going to be on a hot lap here. I think the time has kind of already kicked over, but we'll see. And I don't see any change there. So I think that is the end of it here, as we'll be kicking over to our race session here just very shortly. And we'll be ready to do some racing here. 40 minutes here at Lime Rock in the Formula Ford's pit stop is mandatory, and so won't be I don't think a lot of fuel being brought on board here. Just depends. Obviously, these drivers can set up the car they want. They want to take out some of the fuel and run on a lighter load there for the first half. Then they can do that. Otherwise, we'll be seeing them come into the pits probably around the 34-minute mark.
Yeah, that's right. These cars probably actually get away with that too. They're not drafting quite so hard as you might be in some of the other machinery. And this track is what I mean to say. You can probably get away with that short fueling and coming in early. Sometimes you can't, because you got to be out there and you absolutely have to draft people, but not necessarily here. Mikey Pollard is going to take the pole position in our final race here, the number 73. Second position, Andrew Moran in third, Daniel Case fourth, Frederick Sorley fifth, Irodom sixth, Mario Rass seventh. We have Jason Chen in eighth, Alan DeGassis, our first Masters driver, in ninth, Antonio Reese, then 10th, Chris Murakami. In 11th, we have David Lehman. In 12th, we have Jorg Mani. So pretty big pack of Masters drivers right there in the field, starting, of course, with Alan DeGassis. We'll see if we can scroll forward here, and we'll continue on with P13 is going to be, get a little WD-40 on there. Grabbing some overlay issues here. Just bear with us for a moment. We will continue on with this here. We do have a complete opening lap here, which isn't going to be that long of a lap, formation lap, because it is such a short course, but we will be able to finish these off here once we can get this to scroll over. But maybe while we're stuck here, oh no, there we go, we got 13, Jackson Morley. So that's about the most Canadian name I have ever heard. I am from Canada, and that is the most Canadian name I've ever heard, in 13th place. So we'll be rooting for him out there. That's S1 driver Jackson Morley. 14, we have Jeff Webker. 15th, Michael Nelson. In 16th, Eduardo Batista. In 17th, we have Paul Jackson. 18th, Todd Shuey. In 19th, Mark O'Connell. In 20th, we have Jake Williams. And in 21st, we have Peter Maddox, the Australian driver, bringing up the rear, and also Masters driver there as well. So not seeing too many drivers really out of place there. It looks like we're pretty much copacetic for what we would usually see. That being said, it's the final round, and like I was saying earlier there, sometimes the final round just seems to put a little bit of pep in those steps of maybe some people who didn't do so well, and then there's people out there who have kind of wrapped up a season, right, and they're kind of maybe laying back a little bit today as well. So it's all to play for as usual, and you get out there and try to make as many passes as you can.
Yeah, I just noticed that Jake Williams did not set a qualifying time, starting at the back of the field. Peter Maddox he may be out of the session. He's just not even registered at this point. It's for some of the drivers that had a decent season that looks to cap that off and get a little momentum for the next season coming in a couple of weeks. So we'll see how everybody does here as we get ready, and obviously even a full pace lap is not a long lap here at Lime Rock Park. So we're already heading into the chicane. We'll be going green here just anytime.
Yeah, exactly. And we can see we can see these drivers here weaving for some heat here, just getting those tires bedded in as much as possible, because man, oh man, you're going to need it into T1 here with this pack of hounds behind you looking for any sort of advantage they can get into T1 here. Pace car is going to pull off. Can't tell if we've jumped yet. Doesn't look like it, so we're hesitating. We're waiting 73 jumps. So we are green now. The 45 actually pulls out to the inside of the Almedia car. We are going to go 3 wide into T1 on lap 1. That's how we do it here. The 46 car going to be able to file in there and get that one done. Looking pretty clean throughout the field here. A little bit snippy in the back there, but it looks like we're doing okay. So we're getting through T1. That's a win so far. It's going to be that first chicane, I think, Charles, here, where we may see our first incident there, but things are looking pretty good so far.
So far, so good as we head down the back straight as it is coming up to the hill climb. As we get up the hill, you see all the cars, and you see just the 25 car, just a wiggle a little bit. The car gets very light through there. Sometimes makes it a little difficult to control, but as we're heading into the chicane, looks like everything is going pretty well. Don't see anything really out of place. All right, so it looks like that was a good run through the chicane. Jake Williams already up 6 positions, up to P14. Everybody else is within 1 or 2 before they started.
Yep, we're looking pretty good. That was a good, pretty clean first lap there for sure. So hopefully now it doesn't just kick off and we start trying to go wild here. But it looks like there's a couple passes got done down the front straightaway. You know, and again, this is one of those tracks where you can't really get any passing done anywhere but down that front straightaway and into T1. If you try to force it basically anywhere else on the track, especially this early in the race, you're going to end up with 5 cars on top of you immediately. So anybody who does decide to try to make a pass into the chicane or pull sideways and try to go too wide through this section here, something is going to find out how wrong that idea is really fast. And we'll probably see it happen. We probably will, but you know, sometimes you do. Like you just got somebody in front of you who's slow and they won't get out of the way, and you just have to do something unorthodox. And I think we've all been there as well. So it's not always going to be on the front straight, but it ain't going to help you out so much in the middle section.
Yeah, absolutely. As we were on board here with Aeronom now sliding back through the field. See a nice little battle there. That's Chris Murakami doing battle with Jake Williams. Jake Williams still climbing the ladder, making the run and the easy pass into turn 1. It's a little bit later on the brakes as we see a car off to the right. I think that's Alan DeGassis, the 904 car. So he's missed the apex just a little bit there, managed to get it back righted, and is continuing on, but found himself a little bit of a hole there. We're going to get an onboard look here as we're making the run down into turn 1. Is he going to get a dive, or is he going to? Nope, just like he just loses the rear of the car, has to kind of open it back up, and can't carry the speed through the corner, and is just a nice little two wheels off the track. Nice, easy rejoin, and lost him a couple positions, but he's only down 5, and he's still plenty of racing left to do. As we're just now coming up to the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, 3 minutes exactly. We got a long way to go here so far already. Starting the Iberian Snake down the front straight there, you can see them weaving, trying to break that draft, that little draft that there is on this track here to try to keep their competitor off the back of them. We saw Alan DeGassis kind of losing it there in T1. Really easy to do. Looked like, again, he was kind of looking for the slip angle of the car there a little bit, trying to get it to kind of dip in. And that's what you need to do in this car too. You really do need to sort of hang it out. You are, when you are going as fast as you can in this car at top speed, you know, getting those fast lap times, that slip angle is going to be really, really high. We're going to see Todd Shuey here into T1 as well. Looks like he's got some closing speed here. Maybe got a bit of target fixation on those 2 cars in front of him there. Ends up going wide. So, you know, he's looking for that pass. He started to be able to taste it, and then, whoop, I'm in the rhubarb.
Yeah, I think he saw Paul Jackson off just ahead, and it's like, oh, there's a position might become available, and just carried a little bit too much speed. Saw him get back on the throttle mid-corner, and just too much, really, to be fair, as just kind of pushed a little wide, with a little bit of understeer, and kind of did the same thing that Paul did, is just run a little wide, manages to get it collected, and gets to chase him down all over again. We have another car off. That is the 92 car. And that is Jackson Morley, the Canadian, making he was trying to make a run for the border there, Josh. I saw it.
Oh, boy.
As we see side by side there between him and the 959 car, Michael G. Nelson, really battling hard, gets through, Michael stays in P14, up a position. Morley is stuck there in 13th. That's where he started from. So he's got a little bit of time and a little bit of ground to make up now, as we're going to get a replay here, watching him heading down into turn 1. And yeah, just pretty much the same thing, just a little too much speed. And you saw the car behind as well, also doing the same thing. Yeah, it was another okay, Lehman. Okay, so yeah, it's another target fixation there as you just watch the car, one car follow the other. Yeah. What I like to call monkey see, monkey do. It happens, happens quite a bit.
Yep, exactly. It happens more. Whoa, as we see the 46 have a moment and a half there. He's going to gather that one up with a bit of grass. But yeah, I think we've all done it, right? Somebody's in front of you. I like to call it the sympathy spin or the sympathy off track, where you just kind of follow the person in front of you. You're not really sure why you're doing it when you're doing it. To be honest, you're just like, what am I doing out here all of a sudden? And a lot of the time it's just because your eyes are locked on something, right? They say, I used to snowboard quite a bit in the trees in the backcountry, and one of the things they used to say is if you look at it, you're going to hit it. If you don't, you got to look at the space between the trees, or you're gonna hit the tree. And honestly, it works as long as you keep your eyes focused on those spaces. You won't even touch a tree. The second your brain even remotely notices that there's a tree, your hand's going to touch it. You're going to touch it. You're going to scrape it with your shoulder, something like that. And it's no different in a race car. You want to look for those gaps. You want to look where you want to go, not where you don't want to go. Really good race car drivers, in fact, can be way up the road with their eyes. They're looking way up the road sometimes, and where their car actually is, and they're kind of throwing their car to that position. And that's kind of what we're seeing there sometimes, I think. You're sort of in a daze getting this corner, and then somebody's off in front of you, and whoosh, you're off too.
Yep, exactly right. Yeah, it happens so frequently. As we're looking here at Antonio Reese running in P6, leading the Masters class by a pretty significant gap over Chris Burkhammy sitting back there in P10. So he's having himself quite a good run, as Antonio wants to do. That is the Eduardo Batista, the 22 car. It looks like he has made contact with something out on the track, maybe a barrier. So let's see. So we're coming into our uphill section, and
wide. Oh, yeah,
it's that section is so tricky. Even with these cars that don't have necessarily a lot of power, you get so light coming up over the crest of that hill that you sometimes will overcorrect your steering, or you'll brake, or you'll steer just enough to break the rear end loose. And I've seen that in every car on iRacing at one point in time or another.
Yeah, absolutely. That little rise in the road, I mean, you hit it every lap, right? And I think every lap you kind of do just a little breathe on the pedal, just a small little breath on the pedal to make sure that you don't, take a bit of air and that wheel goes in the air and then hits the ground, moving a lot faster than it was a second ago, and you lose the back end of the car. Or like you said, if you come off even in just a bit of a slight orientation there, as up front we are 4x4 here, looking for the lead at the front. So things getting pretty froggy up there. The 46 losing out on a position to the 45 other film bill car there. The Almeida car of Andrew Moran, I believe that's Daniel Case actually up there in the 46 car. Great livery on that one, by the way. If you're not going to make your own livery, you might as well pick a good one, and he picked a good one there. So I'm really digging that. Almeida car behind him though is not going to stop hounding him here. I don't think. He's seeing some bleeding, and he's going to follow that blood trail and until it passes the 46 car, as he's starting to look a little bit like he's kind of starting to panic maybe. So 46 needs to take a breath, Charles.
Yeah, maybe so. And I think they're just realizing as they're looking at, I'm sure they're kind of watching their relatives. They're in kind of a little draft pack. And Jake Williams is coming in a hurry. I think he's just set 3 fastest laps of the race in a row. As they come down, we'll see what his lap time is again. No, it was Mario Ross this time, but Jake was right there behind him by about 700ths of a second. So you see the back of this field, the draft is starting to build in this little train at the front, and it's bringing some guys along, and it's just making us a little bigger as we're seeing 7, and then Jake will be car number 8 as he closes that gap down to within a second now. And just continuing to close it down. I see if he's going to be able to bring Jason Chin with him. I know Jason's hoping he can get up there as well to get into the mix here at the front of the field as they head down into the chicane again. Pollard still leading the way over his teammate, the film bill cars of Pollard and Surly. Moran in third, Case in fourth, Antonio Reese, the Masters driver, in P5 now, so moved up a position. Aaron Nom, the veteran, sitting back there in P6 and looking to move. This is Antonio Reese looking to move to the inside here of Case as they work their way down into turn one. He's going to be able to get late on the brakes. He's going to be side by side. That's got to be careful there, guys. You'll end up losing the front, and they get through and get the swap made just in time as Antonio takes over P4.
Yeah, very nice pass there for sure, getting that one done through a section that maybe you wouldn't usually see it done. Totally doable through there. We're seeing a lot of grass clipping on entry to that corner there. People getting it as wide as possible. Morley, again, locked in a battle with the Labatt's car, so you couldn't have too many more Canadian things all in a line right there, I don't think. I haven't had a Labatt's in a really, really long time. Used to be a pretty staple beer out here in Canada. It's one of those things, though, right? If you go to Australia, and they're not drinking the Australian beer that we drink. You go to Canada, we don't drink Canadian out here. It's not good beer. We don't like.
Yeah, I get it.
There's many better Canadian beers than Canadian. Labatt actually being one of them. Not a bad beer out there. But Film Bill cars out front, kind of running game a little bit on the field, I would say. When you have a tail gunner like that of Mikey Pollard, you can kind of relax a little bit, right? Allows you to kind of open up, free the car a little, probably run laps like you want to. Frederick Sorley, I mean, he's in second. He doesn't have a whole bunch of stress either. His job's basically to play tail gunner to the Almeida car. So, they might have something going here. I'm going to have to get myself a partner out there like this, I think.
Yeah, there you go. I think that pays dividends to have somebody that you can work with while you're out on the track, and it's good to have a teammate out there that you can ride around with, and you've got a rear gunner kind of built in, and it makes it difficult to have a car between you two. It's just that makes it much tougher on the rest of the drivers as we see the two Film Bill cars out front, Pollard and Surly. Andrew Moran doing a good job just keeping chase. That Almeida car is sitting there in P3. Reese again has moved up. Jake Williams now another fastest lap of the race, 57.07. He has firmly entrenched himself to the back of this field, and he's already got past Mario Ross, so he's made his way up to P7. Ross has dropped down to P8. And the next car back is Jason Chint, unfortunately losing time to this front group of 8. He's down to 3.3 behind, but has a good gap, so is still solidly in ninth place as we get a look here at Eduardo Bautista. Is he coming back out on the track? Looks like he's came in and taken his pit stop and his fast repair, making the run down into one, and just the car not wanting to comply, just not wanting to rotate around. So off in the dirt a little bit, slows the car down and gets him around the corner, so can continue on with his race. Obviously 2 laps down, so not having the race I'm sure he was looking forward to at the start of the day today, but he is still out there circulating, so I think he's got enough. He'll have enough to, if he finishes the race, he'll get some points out of it. Just to say that I finished and I got points, and that's more than we can say for the cars that didn't show up today.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's for sure. You want to finish. You want to try to finish, especially if you're needing practice, and maybe you did have that spin early. You're struggling with the track a little bit. You want to stay out there and get the experience if you can. Just finish the race. Can be a little painful sometimes. 914 taking a look upside. Media car into the chicane. Probably just a press square to intimidate move there, I would think, coming from Antonio Reese. You're not going to want to actually try to pull that move sideways, or you're going to find these 2 cars right on you, as well as the 2 cars behind that. Like you were saying before, I think you almost have to come to a stop as the 99 Almeida car is going to have a look here up the inside, maybe break up this tail gunner pack, and he's going to get it done. He's actually going to wedge
got both of
73
them
off the track. So, wow, Charles, that was quite the move there. Very fair, I believe. We'll have to have a look at it maybe from a chopper view, but that looked super fair to me, and that's how you get it done, man. You want to get that first car, and then he got just enough momentum to get up under the rear wheel of Mikey Pollard and intimidate him off the road, and that looked totally copacetic to me. We'll have a quick look from above here. Oh, yeah, he's got lots of room. He's going to get a little bit on the brakes. Yep. Yep, totally 100% how you get it done into T1 at Lime Rock, Charles.
I think that's exactly right. I think, yeah, it's just he came down to the inside, made the pass over Surly, and just Mikey maybe mirror watching just a little bit and kind of missed his entry into the turn one, and just ran it wide, lost several positions. And notice there's been a lot of switching as Jake Williams has moved up to P5 ahead of Ross and Nom. As well, and now we've got Jake passing Daniel Case, so putting a gap between himself and Pollard. Pollard's going to see if he can work his way through as well, but not going to be able to get it done in 1 and 2. So he's going to be looking down the straightaway, see if there's a potential that he can make a run over these guys, but I don't think I'm going to see that happening as we get a battle here between DeGassis and Monty in the Masters class. A little bit of touch there. Murakami in there as well. So 3-car Masters battle here, and this is for P2 in class. Sitting here in 10th, 11th, and 12th is Jorg Monty, Alan DeGassis, Chris Murakami. So nice little battle amongst these guys, and these guys have been racing against each other for years, so they know each other quite well and are very respectful toward one another. But they'll race close as much as they can, and you can see that these guys aren't giving each other an inch.
No, not at all. The Masters driver not lacking in spice at all. I was going to say those 3 drivers are some of the spiciest drivers in the FF right there. Alan DeGassis, Jorg Monty, Chris Murakami. These are drivers that are not going to give up a position easily. They're going to fight for positions often, and that's Masters class for you. I mean, it's awesome. Honestly, I get around those guys sometimes, and you're like, they're supposed to be Masters drivers. You're thinking, okay, maybe they're a little older than me. They're going to be easy. No way, man.
No.
Jorg Monty is fast. He takes overall victories. Chris Murakami has very wide shoulders. Alan DeGassis is a formidable competitor out there. So they're not just going to give it up. I'd like to make a note here about that T1 pass that we saw him take there, and sort of the mistake that we saw Mikey Pollard make there. So easy to make on this track into T1. If you're looking in that rearview mirror, you can look, we just got a bit of a shot there, what it looks like kind of entering into T1, and it's really wide. There's a lot of entrance there, and there's only really one place where the car's going to hook up and hold onto it, and it's not in the middle of the road. You have to really get down to that. You really have to get down to that curb early and kind of lock the tire in, and then sort of ring around that spot. If you go kind of middling like he did, there's just no grip there, and you before you know it, you're in the grass. I don't know how many times I've gone into that corner thinking, yep, everything's fine, totally copacetic here, and then all of a sudden I'm in the grass, and that's because of that line. If you miss it by 3 inches, you're in the grass.
Yep, I think there's a little bit of camber on the inside of that line, that very tight into the apex, but it just kind of flattens out on the outside. You just don't quite get the help from the track, as you see Shuey there with another example, just running it a bit deep, and I think he's just going to park it. Yeah, but he's exactly what happened. He just said, you know what, I'm not having fun with this running in the back. I'm just going to give it up for today. I'll go do something else for a little while. Maybe take a nap to make up for the lost hour we had last night. So as we're watching Fredericks early in the lead here, Anthony Reese was up in P1 there for a brief moment, but Surly has made his run back around and has taken back over the P1 position, as Reese has slotted back in second with Moran, Williams, and Case, your top 5, and still got those other 3 cars, Mikey Pollard, Mario Ross, and Aero Numb. Don't count those guys out. They just seem like they're sitting in the back, maybe doing a bit of fuel saving here, and not really pushing the car, able to just kind of ride around behind and save a little gas, maybe make their pit stops a little bit shorter. That might be the difference of the race today, but not willing to push the issue just yet, as we're only at the 18.5-minute mark of the race. We've still got a full half of the race plus a little left to go.
Yeah, and there's something about Lime Rock, isn't there, Charles, that always feels, I don't know why, I look up 18 minutes, I'm like, what? It feels like we're at least halfway or past halfway through this race, and every time I go to Lime Rock, it feels the same. I'm not exactly sure why, but the races just feel longer here, and that's probably because there's really you just don't have really a lot of chance to rest around this track. It is so small. You're hustling around it. That front straight, and every front straight, you think you're going to get a rest, but no, I'm getting attacked by everybody behind me in the T1. Exactly. So you have to think about it every lap, and you never really have a chance to relax out here. It is a bit of a mind bender for sure. I always, to be honest, every time I see this track come up, a little part of me kind of goes, oh boy, here we go. Lime Rock again. And it's, you know, I enjoy tracks I don't like. I know that sounds kind of funny, but I like to go out and, as we're going to see here, Antonio Reese look up the inside, going to get that textbook pass done into T1 at Lime Rock. Not really much you can do to retaliate there if you leave that inside open, is there, Charles?
Not really not. And yeah, it's that front straight is you're fighting all the rest of the cars. The rest of the track, you're fighting the track and fighting, just trying to keep your car in the right racing line. But yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of room for brakes. You might take a little breath on the front straight, but it's generally very short-lived as you've got a host of cars that want to get by you, as we see in this battle continuing here with Lehman and Morley. It's the Battle of Canada here as we see a little wheel banging.
It is, yeah.
By the 92 car there. Morley making his way through and remaining at P13. So he's been fighting, you know, he qualified in 13th. He's been fighting for that spot ever since. And hasn't been able to go through. And so Antonio Reese, the first taker of a pit stop. I think we've had one other car. I think it's Jeff Wubker is the only car that has taken a pit stop and has remained in the race. The other two cars have decided to call it a day. So we got Reese in the pits, and Antonio's good about doing this. He'll take a chance and go ahead and get out of that big battle up front and just kind of ride by himself for a little bit and see if he can make some laps that are pretty close to the same pace. And we'll see where he comes out. He's going to come out in 17th, and he's going to be behind O'Connell by about 8.4. So he'll be able to, you know, got some good clean air. He'll be able to just run his line and just try and see if he can keep himself close as far as lap times when he's out running by himself.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a saying there, age and treachery over, what is it, youth and exuberance? Perhaps. Yeah. Not Alan Degas says, perhaps Antonio Reese showing us that right now. Really good time, honestly, to come in. They are fighting here, right? So if he can go out there and get some free air, run the laps he knows how to do, that are probably right up around Mikey Pollard's time, right? They're only about a tenth or two off each other. He might be able to actually jump a few cars here, or maybe even come out ahead. It's totally possible, especially if they get caught up squabbling. As once again the Masters drivers just testing each other's metal here, back and forth through parts of the track. Unorthodox, doesn't matter. They're going to do it. Chris Murakami almost looks like he's just sort of fishing back there now. He's just looking. He's waiting for these guys to crash. You know, and I would be saying the same thing at that point. Squabbling that much through that section of the course, not really sure that's what I would be doing. You're not going to get a pass through there, and if you do, it certainly isn't going to stick down the straight. As we got rookie on board, Jason Chen sideways under the bridge. Easy place to get it for that to happen there on any layout of the course. I've been sideways there on every layout for sure. So we're going to see him kind of come up over the rise there. He's going to get that done. We're going to try to tuck it in here for the ape, and just going to miss it. Yeah. Unfortunately. A little bit too much heat there. Maybe he was looking down at the CD changer for a second. Unfortunate.
Yep. Yeah, probably so. And it's I mean, Jason's a really good driver. You know, obviously won S2 and moved up into S1 and has had struggles like most drivers do when they kind of graduate up to the big one, because there's so many really good S1 drivers already out there. It's a bit of a challenge to be able to consistently run up in the top 10. And so Jason's had his ups and downs this season, but still very, very talented young driver as he's in the battle with the old guys now. He's in there between Degassis and Murakami, and these guys won't do him any favors either. They'll absolutely just do what they can to make his life miserable. As you see the run there with Chin on the inside, trying to make it hard on Degassis to get through the corner. Gets that pass done. To jump back up a position there, P8, as Jorg Monty sitting there in P7. So Daniel Case coming into the pits as in and on his way out. So he is he's going to be a couple of seconds behind Antonio Reese. So Antonio already starting to make up a little bit of time. I think Antonio has maybe figured something out and has given himself 2.5 second gap over a guy that he was racing with just a few laps ago.
Yeah, he may have made the right call there for sure. We're going to get Jake Williams actually coming in for a pit stop here as well. You can see his pit time there down at the bottom. And I'm not exactly sure what the average pit time is around here. Perhaps we can get that up in a little bit, kind of see what the pit stop sort of looks like for each car here, and maybe how we can sort that out later. But back to sort of the battle we saw there earlier too between DeGassis and Jorgmani, and that's just kind of slow, the way that they're sort of battling each other through that section. And of course, it looks like they're only racing for Masters, right? So it doesn't really matter, they're in their own world right there. But just as an example, you can see trying to hold somebody down low into T1 when you have 20 some odd minutes left in the race and there's cars behind you, it just, to me, isn't really good racecraft. You're slowing the whole pack of cars down. You're losing Jorgmani, and it looks like that's not what he's doing now. He's not going to do that anymore. He's realized here, okay, we're losing this guy. If I continue to fight Jason Chen that hard, and I hold his feet to the fire in every corner, we're just going to lose the guy in front of us. So you kind of want to play ball a little bit, and then wait for that straightaway and then get it done. And it looks like that's what's happening now as we're kind of going line of stern. Jason Chen going to have a look up the inside here. So he's got a fire lit under him now after that spin, and he wants to make those positions back. And we're going to have that fight, that good fight there between Jorgmani and Alan DeGassis now back lit up, as we also have, I believe, joining the fight there now is David Lehman as well. Excuse me.
Yeah, as we've got Lehman has now jumped into this, and that is another Masters driver. So he has decided he wanted to fight with some other guys and not Morley this time. So Jackson Morley has pitted as well. I'm going to look. It's very slow stop. So I'm going to guess that maybe didn't have something unchecked because his stop was significantly slower than the remaining group of cars, or just didn't have his fuel set right. But most of the cars coming in were around 12 to 13 and a half seconds. Daniel Cases was a little slow, which is why he's behind Antonio Reese. Jake Williams was just blisteringly quick, and it was more on the cone-to-cone time. 35.1 was 4 seconds faster than what Antonio Reese did. As far as your cone-to-cone time was only about a second, 0.2 as far as stoppage, but just absolutely nailed the entry. So saved himself several seconds there in the pit. So he's got got it with a very potential for coming back out and being in the front here as now Mario Ross comes into the pits. So yeah, just looking at the times is pretty consistent. Like I said, between 12 and 13 and a half. Some outliers as well, but now you've got a nice battle here. Antonio Reese is going to be 2 seconds behind Pollard, as you can see on your timing tower. And so we're watching the final three up at front: Frederick Surley, Andrew Moran, Aaron Naum, Jason Chen. And then all the way down to David Lehman and Paul Jackson still yet to pit.
Yeah, we're seeing our takers now taking our pit stops, and unfortunately we are going to get tangled up. I just looked over at my timing tower and then saw that happening. Didn't see how it actually kicked off there, but that's definitely two cars locking wheels going sideways, and we're going to have a look at it here. Beautifully paint jobbed car there of the car just behind. We're going to have a look. So he's not anywhere near passing here yet. And he is really, really going to go for it. It looks like he just completely lost it under braking or something there. So obviously that was not what he had planned, and we're going to give him a little bit of leeway on that one. So something went wrong for him there under braking.
No, that was definitely not planned by either one of those guys. Looked like Jake had given him plenty of room on the inside. Wasn't really fighting it. Was just going to let him come through, and just maybe O'Connell too much exuberance going into the corner, and could not quite maintain control there as Alan DeGassis is coming into the pits. So he's dropping out from P8 or 9. He's going to come on in, get his stop done, see if he can do a little bit of undercut on the guys he was fighting with. One of those being Jorgmani sitting there in P5. We still have, once again, the top 8 cars still yet to pit as they are out there. Obviously, the contact there with Jake Williams and O'Connell has kind of put Jake on the back foot a little bit. He's already he's dropped down to P13, and he's going to have quite a task to try and make it up back to that front group again. As we are looking at it, he's right behind Daniel Case, but he's 4 seconds behind Reese, 6 seconds behind Pollard. So Pollard seems to be the virtual P1 as we're running here, as he is the first car that has been to the pits.
Yeah, and we just saw briefly there on the timing tower the people who have taken a stop. We got about our first, 4 or 5 cars here that have not actually decided to come into that pit yet. Something we didn't mention actually is the pit entry around here. If that's actually the first 8 we're hearing from our producer here. So first 8 drivers have not gone into the pit yet. You can see in our timing tower over there. That's nearly half the field here. So we are going to get a pretty big shakeup soon. There we go. We can see our stops there now. That's going to be a pretty big shakeup when time comes. I like to say all the time, because I'm so bad at them, is pit stops are important. Getting that pit entry around here, not an easy one. That pit exit here too can also be a bit of a bear if you're coming out into traffic as well. Into T1 can be a little frenetic as well. So, and then on top of that, it's like, did I uncheck my tires? Did I fuel myself right? Am I going to speed in? Am I going to speed out? These are all things you have to think about as you're going here. And we're going to go into T1 with Michael Nelson, the Masters Racing team here. And once again, trying to get that slip angle right, just asking a little bit, wrong of the car and the wrong orientation. Really easy to do around here as you're trying to kind of extract that lap time. And, you're going, maybe I can go a little faster. Maybe I can go a little faster. And then all of a sudden you find yourself sideways. We're going to watch Jackson Morley, I have a feeling, kind of do the same thing there. Initiate the car really abruptly, has a bit of a wiggle, tries to save it, and we're going to end up sideways again. So unfortunately for Jackson there, he is going to lose a bit more time today.
Yeah, a little bit more time, but obviously going to get some good knowledge here. So you sometimes you have to learn what not to do to figure out what to do it properly. So good run from Morley. He's been doing pretty well. He's been, at least if nothing else, up until that point, at least holding his ground, which sometimes is definitely preferable to just falling to the back of the pack. As we're riding on board here with Chris Murakami, who has now inherited the Masters class lead, as Lehman and Monty have came into the pits for their stop. So that leaves 5 to go to come in. Our top 5 still yet to have pitted as Murakami is trying to close in. And here they come now. Oh, and you see a little bit of contact there coming in with Sorley Moran just getting together, coming in, trying to get the car slowed down. And that is one of the detractions from pitting with somebody is you're kind of at their mercy as you come into pit, because as this pit entry, there's really not a lot of room to evade / move around, maybe make a pass. Obviously, you saw it there, just nowhere to go. Had to make a little wheel-to-wheel contact, and they're done, and they're all the way back out. And looks like Moran has got the whole shot out of the pits and is going to take over the lead here for the next few seconds.
Yeah, so we're getting that. Didn't work out for Antonio Reese there for sure. He's definitely behind now. We do have Mikey Pollard is part of this crew now here, so he is in striking distance to get something done here potentially by the end. We're gonna have a quick look here at our exit, and yeah, we're gonna play ball there pretty much. Looks like he got out a little early. Probably could have forced that one, but you're gonna end up locking wheels or doing something silly, and it's just really silly place to lose any time there coming out of the pit. You might as well just save that maybe 10th you were gonna grab it. But we're gonna get a little over the rise, maybe. Nope, we gotta have settled her down there, not too bad. And we're gonna be coming into the chicane. You gotta take that very strange wide exit there. Easy to get caught out. Michael O'Connell facing backwards. Yeah,
I think that's exactly right. Now he's just kind of keeping an eye out for the cars coming around, watching his relatives so he can make a nice rejoin there, as he was pretty much perpendicular to the track. As we're going to get another replay here, and this is Michael Nelson again heading down the front straight and into T1. We're going to lose the rear again. Looks like we are.
Oh, that slip angle.
Just fighting it. Just I think all the sliding just coming in just heated up the rears, and just to the point that where it doesn't matter what you're going to do, short of just driving it through the grass. If you still try and make that corner, the rear's just going to let go, which is what happened. Once again, one of those little learning things of how much speed you can take into T1 and how much is too much.
Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing there for sure. You're seeing kind of like the attack happening into T1. It's that time of the race, perhaps, when people looking for a little more speed, or maybe getting a little complacent into T1. We are getting in the wee hours now. Really easy to do. Like I said, there's kind of only one line through there. You really got to tuck it in to that corner, which makes you have to throw quite a bit of slip angle into the car, and you can easily get that wrong into T1 when you're really starting to push it. But things looking pretty nose to tail now. We do have some battles out there for sure. We're not totally over yet, but kind of the same players here that have been battling almost the entire race are still kind of battling with each other. We have those Masters drivers are still in a pretty close pack with each other. Up front, Mandrew Moran, Frederick Swordley, also very close to each other here. Aaron Nom just kind of hanging out there as well. And then just behind that, Mikey Pollard, not totally out of this yet either. Mario Ras, haven't really spoken. Antonio Reese and Mario. I'm sorry, who is that right there? That is a lap driver, is it?
That is a lap car, I believe.
Blue and green car. I think that is going to be Morley. Okay, yeah, so that's Morley bringing up there. I was going to say, we haven't talked much about that car, and he's right there. But you can tell he's got some pace, right? He's actually staying with this group now. So maybe just some consistency issues there for a little bit. Stuff you gotta work out, and we got a whole season coming up to be able to work on that too.
That's exactly right. As you see, the top four as Pollard has kind of joined the back of the front three. He's about 6/10 back, so he's well and truly in this group. And you've got Antonio Reese sitting there by himself in fifth. So he's 3 seconds off of P4, but he's also about 3.5 seconds ahead of P6, which is the group with Mario Ross, Jake Williams, and Daniel Case. So the Antonio, I think, got some benefit out of the early pit stop. The guys in the that stopped at the very latest obviously got some big benefits from the short pit stop time, and then the guys that kind of were in the middle there kind of lost out. So it's kind of interesting how it all worked out. But still, 4 minutes left, so we've got about 4 more laps to go here, as we're getting that battle up at the front there between Sorley and Moran, and now Aero Nom looking to see if he can make a move, deciding to not quite ready just yet, and now Pollard in there as well. So who's going to be the first guy to make a lunge somewhere other than the entry into turn 1?
Yeah, that is the question, isn't it? Where will it get done? Will it be T1? Will it be some of the other places there? We do have a back marker here of Nelson on the outside. Going to do the right thing, pull over to the inside. Really good spot to let everybody by. Didn't actually affect anyone there. And that's kind of exactly what you want to see from those back markers. Looks like maybe Swordley got himself a slowdown there. This is not going to help his situation out at all. Maybe one of the better places on track to get it, actually. Should be able to kind of take this T1 really wide. Just take that really wide line all the way around on that white line. You might be able to burn it off by the time. Oh, and we're going to get a little bit of a teleportation there from one of our drivers, but still hasn't burned it off. He's got to burn that off. He's only got about another maybe 20 seconds to get that done, 15 seconds to get it done here, so we'll keep an eye on it. You can burn it off just by running kind of the wide line on the track. He's now going to have to do it. Now he has to, losing 2 positions in the process. So we're going to have to fight that back. What a bummer. Those off tracks, what a feeling. Feel like you got something stolen from you.
Yeah, really is. But he's still in the group, so he hasn't really lost out. He's lost a couple positions, but once again, that's going to be easy enough to do as we're coming down. And this is going to be, I believe, 3 to go when we get to the line, as we're just past the 38-minute mark. So that's going to be 2 to go. So 2 to go this time by, as we're within the final 2 laps of the race here, and the battle still continuing on here at the front, as we see Mikey Pollard looking to the inside there, and he's going to be able to not quite work his way through. Sorry, that's Nom on the inside. Now Pollard on the switchback. It stays in front, still battling, and that's allowing Moran to kind of get a little bit of a run, a little bit of a gap. That's what happens when you fight through corners with these cars. You just end up with the cars in front being able to check out just a little bit, and the cars behind just kind of stack up behind you. As we're on board now with this the second group here involving Jake Williams, Mario Ross, and Daniel Case. That is the battle for P6, as they have not really made up a lot of time to Antonio Reese sitting there in 5th all by himself. But now Antonio's looking to say, are they going to fight enough to where I'm going to be able to get up there? I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be able to make up 3 seconds, as Moran now taking the white flag. 1 lap to go, Josh.
Yeah, 1 lap to go for the Almedia Racing driver here, able to kind of hold it out. Didn't lead from the beginning, but he sure is now. And behind him, I don't think he's going to have too much problem here bringing that car across the line. That can't be said necessarily for these other 3 cars and this pack of 3 cars either. We are getting definitely in the wee hours now. This is the last lap of the race. Get it done now. Final race of the season to show your competitor what you are made of. Chris Murakami is definitely trying to do that with Jorgmani right now, looking up the inside. Still side by side there for a moment. He's going to relinquish that one to Jorgmani. Back up front with the Film Bill cars. Going to be coming across the line here pretty soon. Last chance to get it. Might get a good run out of here. We got a bit of a slowdown, so I would probably just serve that after and hammer across the line right now and see what happens. And unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to pull that one. But the 99 of Andrew Moran is going to take the win in our final race, round 12 here. Real close in the back between Sorley and Nam. And Pollard, unfortunately, going to miss out with a bit of a slowdown there right at the end. Antonio Reese, our first Masters driver today, winner in the Masters class. And we're going to have to go all the way back to Paul Jackson in 15th place for our S2 winner, who's not quite across the line yet. Jorgmani going to win out on the battle of the other Masters drivers here as well, over Chris Murakami and Alan DeGassis. Labatt's car coming across the line right there. Our other Canadian driver, Jeff Wubker, in the 14 here, about to come across the line as well. He is going to bring home 4th in the Masters class. So pretty good race today, I'd say. Finish it, maybe not the best, my favorite track to finish a season on, to be honest, but we had some pretty good racing out there for sure. You know, this isn't an easy one to execute, let's say. We all know it well, but executing here can be very difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. And congrats to Paul Jackson for getting the Spec 2 victory. And that's going to seal his championship. So great job by Paul this season. But yeah, I think Pollard did the exact right thing. If he would have came across with the slowdown, that would have been a 40-second penalty added on. That would have basically just dropped him to the bottom of the list. So, that's almost a 1-lap penalty at Lime Rock. So, very, very smart to just go ahead and get that slowdown worked off. Take the P4 and bring it home. But great driving, great racing, nice battles everywhere today. I mean, there was battles all over the place in this. You had a nice big draft pack up front for the first 2/3 of the race, and then it kind of broke up after the pit stops, which is what we see all the time. But then you still had 2 or 3 of those big packs running there. As we're on board and kind of looking at a replay here, this is the 7 car of Mario Ross over Jake Williams and Daniel Case. So once again, just great battles up and down the timing tower there, and it was a great ending to our season.
Yeah, absolutely. Good ending, and you're right. Lots of battles all over the track, and that's the beauty of the Weekend Warriors here on Slow Motion Broadcasting is the battles you're going to get into. You battle all over the track every week with people, helpful and informative people there. A bit of a moment there at the end there, huh, Charles? A little bit of confusion as to where to place the car. That was definitely the slowdown there at the end, but having a bit of indecision as to where to place the car there. What is he going to do? Where am I going to go? Could have been a little worse than it was there, but it ended up being okay. But yeah, but back to my point there, we have an awesome league in the Weekend Warriors and the Ray Esports universe here. If anybody's interested, you can get in touch with us at Slow Motion Broadcasting here. I believe there is a link in the description to the Discord where you can come and get involved with us here as well. And if there's anybody out there looking to sponsor a race, we can't do this without you. Film Bill, thank you so much for getting the last 3 races of FF this season. Durkee's Dickles on the SRF side of things, taking care of that season as well. And we are still looking for sponsors for next season here. So if you're looking into this, if you like doing this out here, you're driving every week, consider sponsoring a race for next season there. We can't do it without you, and we absolutely love to do it. But I believe we can probably get on to some interviews or possibly some results right about now.
let's pull the results up. I think we've got those available, and we'll run down the finishing order as Andrew Moran takes the race victory over Frederick Surley. Aeronom finishing in third. Mikey Pollard finishes in fourth. Antonio Reese, your Masters class winner, finishing in fifth overall. Jake Williams in sixth. Mario Ross in seventh. Daniel Case finishing in eighth. Jason Shin finishing in P9. Jorg Monty finishing in 10th. P2 in the Masters, right ahead of Chris Murakami, finishing in 11th. Alan DeGassis finishing in 12th, just missing out. David Lehman 13th. Jeff Webker 14th. Paul Jackson, Spec 2 of victory today, finishing in 15th. Jackson Morley 16th. Michael Nelson 17th. As we roll on down, I think we've got Mark O'Connell there in 18th. Eduardo Batista finishing in 19th. Todd Shuey in 20th. And Peter Maddox did not take the start of the day's race. Will be classified in 21st. So once again, great way to end. And I think we do have Antonio Reese, our Masters class winner, waiting there for an interview there, Josh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Good.
So do we have, sorry, I got my Discord pulled away here. Do we have anyone in the booth yet? No. So we're just going to wait till we're actually going to get our standings here. We have Aaron Bray, who's done an excellent job across a couple of our leagues this season and helped us out with points. And believe it or not, he is actually down in the hauler right now, figuring out points for the end of this season for us. And we should be able to display them momentarily here. So maybe we'll wait around a little bit for that while we watch the gnome. I didn't know there was a gnome in the grass there at Lime Rock, apparently. Maybe not quite as eclectic as Barber with the dummies and the spiders and whatever, but we do have a gnome at Lime Rock and the Airstream sign as well. You gotta love that.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, for sure. And we do, Josh, if you want, I'll pull Antonio down. He is in the waiting room to do an interview. If you want to do the interview, that'll be fine. If not,
absolutely.
I can do it either one. All right, here we go. We'll grab Antonio.
Yep. Antonio, that was a great win in Masters. Looked like you even had a chance perhaps at an overall win today there for a little while. Took that early pit stop. Didn't really work out for you, though. Actually probably lost a little bit of time. Maybe you can explain how you lost the time out there. Was that just getting caught up in some traffic, or did you have a little bit of an issue out there on track?
No, I'm always slow on the pit. My software doesn't work well. The fool.
You sound like me. My software, meaning my brain, doesn't work very well often when I do the pit stop. So mine not so good. Maybe I should leave it to the software. But that's unfortunate. So you had a bit of a long pit stop then.
Yeah, it's always like that. Every time is like that. So I already know what I'm going to get. So there is no hope I can improve on that situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, that's fair. You put up a real good fight until then, though. We were thinking, hey, maybe if he can get this pit stop and these guys keep fighting up here, he might actually have something in the bag here. He might know something we don't. But, Lime Rock, not an easy track to race around. You'll get a lot of laps done here. This chicane layout, not really my favorite layout for sure. Not an easy one. Not easy to get passes done and stuff around here. But it being round 12 going into the next season, I'd ask you, hey, what do you think about the next race? But we're going into next season. So what was the season like for you? How did this feel? Did you find some pace out there? Did you learn anything about any of your competitors? Maybe you can wrap up the season a little bit for us.
I really expect the season to start. I always like to be there, and I will be there with the guys on the Weekend Warriors. But I'm still waiting for the season to finish before start.
Yeah, fair. That's fair. You definitely want to make sure that you are there for the end, and your mind's not too much on the future quite yet or into next season. Not exactly sure what that calendar is going to look like yet, but hoping it's going to be a good one. And now with the time change, don't have to get up quite so early. My time, it being I had to get up at about 9 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning to start practicing for these, which is just not something I wanted to do on a Sunday. Now we're going to get a little bit later now, so I'm going to be able to perhaps come back for next season, Antonio. But before we let you go here, we were talking earlier about the sponsors of the Weekend Warriors and just how the league works and how awesome it really is, and we're trying to get people obviously involved. Maybe you can give us a quick idea just what it's like to be part of this league and the camaraderie and stuff that's involved.
Oh, it's amazing. It's a very friendly group. All the people are great, amazing people. we are not only racing, we are also making ties to each other, and we share a lot of things on the Discord and on the Facebook and on this. We keep close each other, to an eye on each other through the Discord and all of this information through the social networks. I don't know how to say, but it's amazing. It's amazing how the people, there is no words that can really describe it as good as it is. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
I agree. It adds that layer of immersion, I think, right? I called myself for a while a bit of a sim racing nomad for about 4 or 5 years, 6 years, looking for my crew, a crew of people, something that was going to make this better, sitting down wishing I had races to do and people to race with. And then, I found the Weekend Warriors, I found the Ray Esports universe. And like you said, it just completely elevates the entire hobby to another level when you have people to race with every weekend, something to look forward to, people out there who are going to help you live, repeat, all kinds of stuff, including the broadcast, that also add another layer. So pretty awesome stuff, Antonio. Before we let you go there, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, you guys on the broadcast and the sponsor, Freddie, and for Steve Ray, who is the father of the league, the big Stevie, my bud, and all the drivers, all the Weekend Warriors community. We have a lot of real car race drivers with us, and some sim racers as well, and it's all mixed in one very nice community. A shout out to all of them, and our viewers, of course, on the YouTube.
Absolutely, Antonio. Yep, and we couldn't do it without viewers and drivers like yourself here. We are, we are sponsored by the drivers and by, to get these broadcasts going. So we really appreciate it out there. And like I said before, if anybody out there wants to sponsor a race for next season, we are looking for sponsors. So Antonio Reese, we'll let you go. Great win today in the Masters class, and we'll see you next season, man. Hopefully, I'll see you on track out there.
Yeah, we'll see each other. Have a sure.
Right on, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Right on, and that was Antonio Reese, their Masters winner, and I think that's going to be our only interview today, but we do actually have the points for the end of the season here, so hopefully we can get to those. My screen's kind of, I can see them. So Jake Williams is going to take it in S1 with 943 points over Aero Nam with 832. Just behind that, Mikey Pollard, then Jason Chan, Daniel Case, Frederick Sorley, Edward Batista, Andrew Moran, Dan Whitsack, Mario Rass in 10th. I'll let you go through the rest of those here on your own. That's going to be our top 10 in S1. In S2, we got Paul Jackson with 600 points, absolutely dominating S2 this season, and he deserves it. He's been out there racing with the Weekend Warriors and with the Formula Fords and the SRFs, and even I'm sure he's even poked his head into the Vs a few times. So good on you, Paul Jackson. Good win this season in S2. Enjoy that one. Daniel Veron in second place with 481 points. Kevin Adrian's going to follow him up in third. Chris Montgomery in fourth. Daniel Salmon, our boy Zippy, there in fifth place, going to bring it home with 73 points. So pretty cool. I'll let you go through the rest of those on your own there as well. A little bit of participation, always going to affect these points a little bit. Jorg Mani absolutely dominating in Masters again. That's a 734 point win for Jorg Mani. David Lehman bringing up just behind him in second place with 644 points. Antonio Reese in third, our winner of today's race in the final round. Chris Murakami in fourth. Alan Degassis in fifth. Jeff Webker sixth. Andrew Love in seventh. Jim Brewster eighth. Pierre Robitaille in ninth. And Michael Nelson in 10th. I'll let you guys go through the rest of those. And that, Charles, is pretty much going to wrap up our season here with the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors. I definitely want to thank you, my co-commentator here, as well as Guido Marzucchi, always doing a fantastic job in the booth, Charles. We do multiple shows together every season. I absolutely love doing these things. I woke up earlier there a little bit. Now I'm feeling great, after doing some racing for a while. Maybe I might even jump into the SRFs here. Who knows? But and Guido as well in the booth there. filling us up with good information and always picking good cameras and doing an excellent job. Can always count on Guido to get some awesome production. We do have a bunch of stuff coming up here. XSLR tonight, I will be on that one talking and producing Spa. That's going to be our final round there as well. Should be a bit of a crazy one. We like to have a little bit of fun on those shows, so if you're having a drink or two, you might want to tune in to that one, because you can guarantee some of the guys on track are Monday at 8 p.m. We have a brand new series, the Grand Prix Tour at Road America. There's going to be a Porsche Cup series. Really excited about this one. This is going to be awesome. Hopefully a partnership into the future here. This is a major round 5 of their season. Double points, Porsche Cup cars, no traction control, no ABS. They've removed both for the drivers. Should be a pretty awesome one. Liberty Bell next Sunday. Obviously, we have our Week 13 break. Is why we have such a massive gap, and you're seeing it looks like all we do is American Muscle Series for the next quite a while here. That's just because Week 13 we haven't re-racked everything quite yet. But that's a good look at our season coming up there, Charles. And maybe what I'll let you do here is wrap it up for us. Maybe you can give us a final thought here on the season. And I'll thank you guys one more time for being in the booth with me and doing such a great job, guys. I'm going to sign off here and be quiet. Charles, you can wrap her up.
There we go. Well, Josh, thanks for allowing me to sit in the booth with you. I've enjoyed these Formula Ford, the Weekend Warrior Series for several years now. I love doing the broadcast. I love interacting with all the drivers, the people behind the scenes that really make this go. So a quick get well soon to both Guido, who is kind of under the weather today, as well as Stevie Ray, who apparently is a little bit under the weather as well. Oh, no. So get better soon, guys. Once again, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this, and I'm looking forward to. I'll be out on the track for XSLR tonight as we wrap our season up there. So yeah, be looking for some notifications coming up, as I'm sure we'll have some Week 13 stuff coming around, and especially with the Weekend Warriors. So. Yeah, so the V runoffs in short order, and then we'll crank it up all over again. Hopefully, we'll have some good participation. We usually do, as well as some good sponsorship. And I'll just say this out there: all of our sponsors, the vast majority of them are from our drivers. So we want to always thank them specifically. Once again, we've had Frederick Surley the last 3 races, but Dirk Braun and some of the other guys as well. Not to leave anybody out, but I just I have an old brain, so I don't remember names very well. But again, looking forward to closing out this season, and looking forward to the start of a new one here very soon. And we'll do it all over again, and have a little more fun later on down the road. And with that, Charles, yeah. We'll end the broadcast today. Just don't forget, we've got the SRF race coming up, round 12, coming up in about an hour's time. But for Josh, Wilkie, and myself and Guido Marzucchi in the production booth, thank you very much for watching. Be safe. Take care. See you next time.